Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. We're doing part 2 of the shooting range tutorial. Part 1 you can see, it's on screen, you can click on it. That's where we created the destructible mesh and set up this behavior. Let me play an editor, just so it moves and on impact it explodes. For right now that's pretty much all we need for right now, but we're going to move forward. We're going to change a couple things. First in the editor, we're going to move our player start just so he's over here, facing that way. We're also going to need to change the location and rotation of where this object's going to be spawning from. So, let's see. So the first one spawns where we kind of want it, but the rest don't. So we're going to do a couple things. First, let's go into our blueprints on my character. This is our character that we control. We're going to do a couple things. We want to not allow the player to move at all. We only want them to rotate and be able to fire, things like that. So we're just going to disable the input movement axis. We're also going to take over the jump function because that's the space bar. So we're going to delete the two things that say jump. We're going to take rid of that comment. And what we want to have happen is we want to spawn basically the destructible mesh when we press space. So we're going to do a little bit of copy and pasting. We could just take this, copy that, paste that in. Delay we'll put as a 1 second delay. Press goes in. Now we need to change we basically need to change the location and everything because we basically moved this object. So we're just going to copy each individual section. So X is the same, Y is different, so is Z. And the rotation's different, so 90, positive 90 in the Z. Let's compile, let's save that. So we see the first one go by. Now if we press the space bar, we see one spawn, but it doesn't look like it's spawning correctly in terms of the Z. That was my bad. I did not copy that in. And then what we want to go ahead and do, we should be able to hide the first one just so you don't see it go. So let's try this again. So the first one we can't see. We press space. There we go. So we see them basically spawn. Now our next issue is the actual effect, the gunfire. So this is the spawn projectile. Shows you everything it needs. But we're actually going to need to go into that class, that blueprint for my projectile. We're going to go to the components, into the projectile option. And we're going to change the X from 3,000. We're going to do 5,000 instead. Just for testing purposes right now, because this is basically changing how fast that particle moves, or that projectile moves, I'm sorry. So before, it was not going as fast. So we press space. You can kind of get it to go faster. You can also give it a little bit less gravity too. So we can get it to fire any kind of way you want. So we got that set up. You can tweak that as you wish. Let me get rid of this here. So now that we're able to basically spawn projectiles on will by pressing the spacebar, and we kind of change the behavior of our projectile just so it shoots faster. Let me go ahead. Let's make it a little bit faster. Let's do 6,000. So we're going to change that in the initial speed and the max speed properties here of the projectile class. And we're also going to change that in the velocity. So now those are all 36,000. Save that. Now in the actual disk, the balls that we fire. On component hit, we actually want to do something different. We want this to only apply that radius damage where it kind of explodes. We only want to do that when we know that the player has shot the ball in the first place. So one way I've seen we can do that, the easiest way from my knowledge, is there's an other actor component here that you pull out. This basically tells you what the other actor is that hit it. We want to ask, hey, is this the projectile? If not, don't do anything. If it is, explode the thing. So we're going to do is class or is actor of, let me see. Yeah, it's get class. Sorry about that. And then class again, and then equal. So equal class. And what class are we looking for? We're looking for a projectile, or my projectile. And then you pull out here for a branch, and you move these down, connect the hit into this branch, and then if true, let's print a string that just says projectile, or hit by projectile. So let's spawn that. We just gotta hit it first. Yep, we got it. Hit by projectile. So we know that recognizes that. So let's get rid of the print string. Take our apply radius damage section here, plug it into true. So let's save that. Let's try again. So we're seeing it kind of break right there. So we actually want to go ahead and amplify the damage here. So let's put damage to 500, damage radius to 2056 or 256, and then impulse strength we'll do 150. We really want to just see this thing explode. So we did it. We got it. To do it a little better, again, this is something we just need to change. And let's also do this. In the disk movement here, for just troubleshooting kind of purposes, let's change its velocity from 2000. We'll just change it to 500, just so it moves slower, just so we have a better chance of shooting it. And we see it explode. So again, really want to see this thing explode. So let's make this 5,000. There we go. So that works, and that's awesome. So we were able to basically say, hey, is that other actor of the class of my projectile? If it is, basically let's explode it when it contacts it. And then basically, to get more of a bigger explosion, you just change the impulse strength option there and change it to 5,000. So if you can't read what this says, the base damage is 500, the damage radius is 384, impulse strength is 5,000. So we got that working, and we got in my character, when we press the spacebar, we give a 1 second duration delay, and then we spawn the disk at that location with that certain rotation, just so it fires ahead of us. And we also disabled movement, so you can't physically walk, but you're still able to rotate the character. So one last thing we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to need a reference to the spawned actor. So this return value Okay, let's promote this to a variable. Let's call this disk reference. And then we're going to control left click grab, left click drag to get a disk reference. And we're going to get the DM out of it. So get SM sphere DM, and DM stands for destructible mesh. And then we want to do a set velocity, or just velocity. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the wrong object here. From the disk reference, we're going to need the projectile movement. So we'll do get disk movement, because that's how we named it in the class originally. Get disk movement right here. Now we can do stuff with the velocity. So we're going to set the velocity. And our velocity currently is set for the Y direction. And I just want it to be basically varied velocities that this thing will fire at, like randomly. So we're going to do make vector, plug that into the velocity. And again, we're only focusing for the Y. So we're going to do float in range. So random float in range. Plug that into the Y. And we're basically going to do anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000. So let's save. Let's see if this actually works. Oh. It works, but it doesn't look like it's firing in the right direction. So let's change this up. Okay. So we're going to have to make these negatives. So negative 2,000, negative 1,000 is the max. And we're going to plug it into the X so it fires in the right direction. Whoa. Okay. I think I know why that broke. We need to basically take off. Basically need to remove this actor from the scene. Let's try this again. There you go. Okay, so we got firing in the right direction. We have a kind of random speeds it can fly at. So for the vector, we just had to change it just because we have to have it fire in a certain direction. But we got that working, which is really nice. And now we have a reference to that class too from the spawn actor, which is really nice. So we got everything set up for the actual shooting range now. So we're not able to move, pressing WASD, not moving, able to do full rotation, and then spacebar. We spawn a disc, and we can fire at it, and if it makes contact, it explodes the disc. If we can hit it. So, we did pretty good so far. But that's where we're going to end it for right now. Because now we have the behavior where we can spawn, and then we can basically destroy those discs. So the next thing we're going to do in the next tutorial, we're going to set up some HUD options. Basically, just give ourselves like a time limit and a way for us to track the score, and ways how we can calculate score based on how well we're doing. So that'll be on the next tutorial. So on this tutorial, all we did again was setting up the behavior of how the discs function. We can control it on how they spawn, how fast they go. They also get destroyed on impact with our projectile class. And we also did a little bit of the character where we disabled movement and we repurposed the jump key or the space bar to spawn those projectiles. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Comment below with more suggestions, comments on anything if you have questions on this or other ideas for tutorials. And also like and share if you can. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.